Today we're going to take a look at some arm wrestling footage of Devon Larratt getting absolutely destroyed by Michael Todd. But for some reason, this footage is pretty difficult to find on YouTube, so you may have never seen it before. This has got to be the worst performance against Michael I have ever seen from Devon. In this video, Devon gets flash pinned by Michael 15 times in a row. And not only that, but Michael is doing somewhat of a Todd roll, where he doesn't even have hand control, but he's still driving right through Devon's arm with no problems. Let's take a look.
He's getting a free workout right now. I like bragging on him.
Now I got you. Now I got you. Get you now, Michael. Now I got you.
So that was pretty crazy. As I stated earlier, one of the more impressive things about this is that Michael doesn't really have hand control. He's basically doing a Todd roll. He's maintaining his back pressure, his side pressure, and his pronation, and he doesn't really care about his wrist flexion. Another thing I did notice is that Michael Todd isn't really controlling the high knuckle spot either. Devon is starting with his knuckles higher than Mike's most of the time. Mike is basically giving Devon everything that he would normally fight so hard to get, yet he's still pinning Devon easily. However, is it possible that this is part of the reason Michael is getting these pins? Devon is really good at taking hand control, but if hand control is just given to him freely, he now has to fight his opponent's side pressure with his bicep. And this is sometimes a greater task than if his opponent would just fight for hand control, especially back when Devon did not have a King's move. And of course, this is not a super match, so I'm guessing that Devon was not fresh for the practice pull. I have no idea how fresh either Devon or Michael was here, so that potentially impacts how impressive this is, but I'm not sure by how much. Now Devon does end up finally getting a stop on pin number 16, but it looks like Michael still ends up pinning Devon even after he gets the momentary stop. And after this, the video ends. I'm guessing Devon may have turned it around from this point if they continued pulling. So how is this relevant for today? One of the reasons I wanted to take a look at this clip is because this is a little bit more back in the day when Mike had way more explosive and offensive power. This is back in the tournament days of WAL, not the super match days. I think part of this may have been from Mike's increased range of motion. Mike's range of motion hasn't really been ideal for a long time, but it got even worse throughout the WAL. And I'm talking about the WAL super matches here, not the tournaments. In WAL, Michael was almost always resorting to the King's move, which caused his already over-rotated arm to become even more over-rotated, and his arm that wouldn't get close to his face to become even worse. The ability to hit hard sideways with an arm that can't fully pronate and an arm that doesn't even get close to you is very, very difficult. But ever since Michael's bicep tear, he has been doing a ton of rehab that includes mobility work. Not only is Mike now able to get his hand much closer to his face, but it looks like he is also able to pronate and supinate his hand much further than he could back in WAL days. I wonder if Michael's newfound increase in mobility will help him get back to some of that explosive power that he used to have. Back when Mike was competing in WAL super matches, his King's move worked super well and he didn't really need to be explosive. But now that all the leagues are implementing rules that make the below the table King's move obsolete, that offensive explosive center table power is becoming more and more important once again. I'm excited to see how Michael can continue to progress now that he has the flexibility of a figure skater.